Hi, I'm Holly from Tech Mums, and we're here today at Housing Tech 2019. And I'm here with Kathryn from Midland Heart and Jo from Sovereign Business Integrations Group. And we're here today to talk about women in technology. So tell me, Kathryn, how did you end up working in tech? Was it a typical route, or did you study something else and then move into technology later?
Yeah, I suppose my career in technology has been an absolute accident. Through school, university, really my focus was on business studies. My first job was in actually administration. Okay. But I suppose I very quickly proved to my employer that I was good at managing change. They approached me. They'd got a little tech project which was sort of off the rails, and they asked me if I'd get involved and try and get this new piece of software implemented for them, working with a third party. And that was where it all started, I suppose. Awesome. So I got more involved in that, and really, I suppose, just learned to love implementing new technology and got to learn more and more about it, awesome. as I went through over time.
So Jo, what about you? How did you get started into tech?
I did a housing degree. So I'm actually a housing practitioner and was working for housing organisations. And it was all about the business change, how do we make things better? And then we put in a new housing management system, and I had lots of opinions as to how that could have been done better, to the point where I was actually then approached by one of the software providers to go and work for them on the business side. So to help their technical staff understand how the product needed to work, how they should develop it, and talk to the clients to sort of translate their requirements into it.
Following on from that, how do you think the sector is doing in terms of numbers of women within IT teams?
For me, just thinking about my specific organisation, Midland Heart, we've got a very diverse IT team. And I think it helps, the team is made up of two parts. So we do business change and project management as well as technology management. It's roughly a 50-50 split, so half my team are female, half male.
That's really good. And what about you, Jo?
We've got obviously a managed service provider. We have a lot of very technical staff, quite a few men. What I see in my business and in others is that women tend to move more towards the application side, the sort of the business requirements, the training, the project management, those kind of multi-skill pieces. So I still struggle to get women techies. So I'd like to encourage more women to be more technical, to think that they can do that. And I think that's where the struggle is. It's like, oh, well, I'm getting into tech, but actually I'm on the application side or the project management piece.
Why do you think that is, that women are more drawn to that side than the actual hardcore techies? Do you think it's a perception issue?
It's a combination of kind of perception, and you see somebody else doing it, so think you can do it. And the skills are different. Yeah, so you need to be able to kind of talk, understand the business requirements. And I'm seeing what's a really interesting shift, that people are recruiting to their service desks from their customer services team. So actually customer services is really important, and they're thinking, well, if you're good with people, and because the number of women in customer services tends to be higher, that actually they're getting women into their IT team, and then they're training them and kind of bringing them on. There's been a few associations who've actually made a conscious effort to do that, which has been fantastic.
Do you think women actually think about working in tech or moving into tech? We've had conversations with women who say they can't recruit because they don't have enough female applicants. There's a sense that women aren't really thinking about what roles are available in tech, or they don't think they can do it. Have you seen something like this at all?
I see a lot of that, and I did a quick sort of review of some recent sort of college magazines, advertising, and all the pictures are male. So if you're flicking through some kind of prospectus and thinking, what am I going to do at college? They're still very male image, and that's that subliminal, oh, well, this is all men. I was talking to a head of IT, a woman yesterday, and she was saying that she was the only woman on her course. Really? And it was really hard. It was really hard. So there's that kind of, do I go where other people are going? So I said, but what made you stick to it? She said, I just wanted to get out of where I was. There was no career future, and I kind of thought, if I'm going to do something, I want to do something that is different, and I want to get away from where I am now.
LinkedIn have just published a gender diversity in job seeking report. It's very interesting. It said, because when you're applying for a job on LinkedIn, they can track what activity is going on. So their report said that men tend to apply for jobs when they can tick off, say, 60% of the skills. Women will only apply for jobs where they meet almost 100% of the skills listed. I think one of the recommendations in this report was focusing job descriptions on performance objectives and what you expect them to bring to the role rather than what they have to have before they can even take on the role.
That's definitely something we've seen as well. So some of the job descriptions we put out recently, we were very specific about the training and skills that we wanted people to have, and we found most of the people that applied for them were male, and when we come to interview didn't actually have those skills. So we have started to focus more now on experience and talking about the experience we want people to have rather than the qualifications.
What other initiatives do you think employers could implement to get more women into tech teams?
So for me, we're having a big push on apprenticeships at the moment across the entire business, not just technology, because if we can grow our own, even better. So apprenticeships for me are a key way to attract women into the workforce and to grow and develop them over time and to give them those skills to compete in the marketplace.
Yeah, and do you think the industry as a whole is still very much in that same place? We've definitely moved on. We've got more women into tech, that's great. But I think from a very young age, women just aren't thinking about tech careers. It seems that we need to be looking younger and younger to really have an impact. Do you think that's something that would help women in tech to address it at a much younger age?
I do agree. I think addressing it at a very young age is I suppose key to making change happen. But for me, technology is changing as well. So and very quickly we're seeing technology become consumerised, and the types of skills that businesses need to run systems, services in the future, they're changing and changing rapidly. So those traditional technology jobs are dying, they're dying out, and they're being replaced with more service management, service delivery type roles. And I think there's a much bigger opportunity now for women to really come in and play a key part in transforming organisations.
That's great. So maybe the changes in the industry itself are what's going to spur more women into it.
I wonder whether the phrase tech is actually going to kind of dissipate over the years, because every role, every business requires some level of interaction with technology, and if we can stop making a special thing that you have to go for, actually it's just part of what you do.
It was noted in one of the housing tech articles that encouragement is really important for women to get into technology, but is there a right and a wrong way to encourage more women?
When it comes to attracting women into the team, I think the language that we use in adverts and the way we get adverts out there plays a key part in attracting people. So keeping the language more focused on outcomes for me. So that's one key part, but the other one is flexibility in roles as well. So we live in an age now where technology actually allows us to be flexible employers. People don't have to come into an office and work fixed hours. We can be very flexible with that, and I think that's key as well.
I think there's some of the sort of perhaps more subliminal messages about seeing images of women around technology, around courses, prospectuses, and yes, there are those women that are at the top, but if you think about your own role models and why you go into things and how you're encouraged by other women, the more women they get in, the more you encourage, and it's just, we're all relatively outspoken. We're here in our chairs, and it's just making sure that women feel that they've got a voice, and that those that can speak up, and kind of challenge and say, well, actually, why isn't there a woman on the board, or why don't we have any women in that team? Housing technology, last year we talked about the number of women presenters. This year it's very different, and so it's about embracing change and saying, it is changing, and women are leading in technology as well as not just kind of following it.
So on that note, do you have any tips or advice for women who want to get into tech?
I think that there's lots of opportunities, particularly within the housing sector. There's projects, and so put yourself forward for it, because you will learn new skills. Think of it as, I'm just learning some new skills. I can go back to my old job if I want to, but I never see anybody going back to their old job. And they're just like, I can't believe I had this opportunity. It was a project, it was a 3-month secondment. I got my first management job when I did a maternity leave cover for someone else, and it's like, well, it's only 9 months. I don't have to do 12 months or whatever it was. And you think, actually, I can do this. So those kinds of projects, those kinds of secondments, just put yourself forward for it.
I mean, really, I would just encourage people to go for it and give it a try. I mean, I think sometimes there can be a bit of a negative perception about tech, or it's not for me, or I can't be successful. You absolutely can. You can achieve great things. My tip would be just go for it, give it a try, and if you like being creative, technology is the industry to be in, because we do some really creative work.
Okay, so just to wrap things up, final question, are you hopeful for the future?
I'm very hopeful. I mean, I'm seeing more and more women applying for roles with Midland Heart now, and it does feel like, to use your phrase, we've been on a journey. And we're not quite where we want to be yet. There's some more work to do, but it's definitely improving. I'm very hopeful.
Good. And Jo?
I mean, I think year on year, you just see more women in a whole range of jobs, skills, and because so much of it is transferable. So you don't need to be a techie.
Thank you so much, both of you. It's been a really interesting discussion.